If you're watching this video, you're probably nervously scrolling through YouTube trying to find some kind of emotional support to persuade you to get your nipples pierced. You probably have been wanting to get them done for a while. You're too scared because, yeah, why wouldn't you be? You're gonna get a bar of metal put through one of the most sensitive areas of your body. That's pretty intimidating, to say the least. And I did exactly the same thing. When I wanted to get my nipples pierced, I went through YouTube, and what did I find? I found experience after experience telling me why I should not get it done. People told me that my nipples would feel like they're on fire. People told me it was worse than childbirth. And I was like, Christ, this is really not encouraging me. This is not what I need right now. And so I'm here to tell you about my experience because I did get it done. No thanks to those videos. And yeah, it was fine. It was chill. And sometimes I think you need someone to tell you the reality because I'm not gonna lie, telling you that you're gonna feel like your nipples are on fire, that's probably gonna do quite well, story time wise, but that's not really the reality. Obviously, I'm talking about my own personal experience, so it's not gonna be the case that's representative for everybody, but I will say it's not something you need to feel terrified about at all. Like, I did it. It was kind of fine. I'll tell you the story. And I would say, like, if you want to do it, just do it, because you're going to keep like nervously preventing yourself from doing things that are actually nowhere near as bad as you're making it out. Any kind of thing that you want to do, like build up, makes it worse.
Are you behind? I can hear you.
Anything intimidating that you're going to do, the longer you leave it, the scarier it becomes.
So annoyingly, I continually jump through different clips of this video and I keep banging the ground. My bad, I got ADHD.
I basically just don't think those experiences are necessarily representative of the experience that you'll have. And so I think that it's kind of important to offer a different perspective and say, yeah, it's really not that bad. And if you're thinking about getting your nipples pierced, I would say just do it. It's definitely worthwhile. And so I thought I'd give you my story or experience of it, and then basically go through like how painful I would say it was, and then like why I would suggest doing it if you want to, like some of the pros, I guess, of having your nipples pierced. When I got my nipples pierced, I was actually supposed to go with a friend, and my friend then couldn't show up because her hair appointment had ran over. I think it was a hair appointment, and I started to panic because I was outside of this place, and like, even though I'm someone who's got like quite a lot of tattoos and stuff, like at the time I had less, and you know what it's like going to one of these piercing places, it's all like loads of black and like people in there like covered in tattoos and stuff, and I'm like starting to panic because like also I've not got the support from my friend who was supposed to accompany me. I think I was 18 at the time, or 18 or 19, and I'm now 24, so it was a little while ago, which does mean I have like the healing process and stuff too, so I can tell you what that's been like. So I'm like,
this is gonna be terrible.
I went into the place. The woman who's gonna be piercing me was lovely. She was super nice. I'll link the place below. I'm from Sheffield, so it was a place in England close by Sheffield called Rotherham, called Holy Ghost, I think, but I'll put the details below. She was great. She was like completely tattooed, so when she said to me, oh, it's not gonna be that painful, I was like, yeah, you have your eyeballs tattooed. I don't know if you're the best gauge of pain, you know what I mean? But anyway, she was really, really sweet. She then said to me, because she could tell I was nervous, don't worry, if you want to get one done, you can get one done. And I was like, please don't tell me that. Like, I'm not leaving this place with one. I get it, like some people get one out of choice, but I think most of the time people who get one have gone in intending to get two and then got one. That was not going to be me. I didn't want to do that at all. So I said, please, like, even if I fall unconscious, please, even if I faint, pierce the other one, please. I don't want to come out with one. The symmetry, I need it. Please. Anyway, luckily I did come out with two because it wasn't that bad. I sat down and she then she'll like do the thing where she's like, okay, breathe in, and then she does it, and then it just wasn't that bad. Like, I'm also someone who has really sensitive nipples, so it's not that I've got like, I don't know, hardcore nipples made of concrete or anything like that. I genuinely thought that they were gonna be, I genuinely thought it was gonna be really painful. It just was not. Also, your adrenaline, my God. Also, your adrenaline is so high at that point that the pain, like, you really can't feel it too much. It's like if you've had any other kind of piercing, I would say it's even comparable to getting my like nose pierced. That I found like an eye-watering kind of sting. I did find it was like the same with my nipple, but it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't anything crazy. And then she goes on, so she's like, okay, how was it? And I'm like, fine. I was like, do the second one. Like, let's move on. Like, let's do the second one. It was fine. And then she does the second one, and I'm not gonna lie to you, the second one did hurt a little bit more. And it hurt more because of the fact that I think the first one was just not that bad, especially like I said, because your adrenaline is quite high. So it just didn't feel that painful. But then the second one, because you've like dropped and you're not feeling as like stressed out, that doesn't compensate as much for the pain. So the second one I did feel more, but not so much that I would say don't do it, you know what I mean? Because also if you think about it, if you've got through the first one and it wasn't too bad, that means the second one you can do it because you're basing it on the pain of the first one. And although if you're watching this video, you're probably like, oh, now I'm gonna be dreading the second one. Okay, the second one is not that bad. It's not a reason not to get them done, for sure. It's just like a little bit more painful than the first. You just definitely don't have to worry about it. And then yeah, once you've had them done, you're like,
Ooh, ouch, my nipples are hurting a little bit.
but it's nothing crazy. You don't feel like you're on fire. Yeah, okay, there is like a burning sensation that kind of comes like later on. And they do say to you to wear like baggy clothing and stuff like that, rather than wearing like a tight bra. But I'm not gonna lie, because I also have like a bigger chest, I found wearing like a tighter bralette much nicer, because it kind of kept my boobs in place. Because otherwise, if you've got like quite a lot of movement, then it means that there's like a lot of friction. And so I would recommend actually wearing something tight if you've got really small boobs or whatever. Just maybe wear like a cami top or something. But like for me, yeah, having something that holds them in place was actually quite nice. But yeah, so I just took some I think I did take some ibuprofen. I don't know if I even took paracetamol or anything like that, but something like that. Basically, you just don't need to stress about it. It's just not that deep. Yeah, and then they just give you some salt solution. They did just say, my friend did say to me, the one who'd got pierced there, that she'd been told to use saline solution, which is like, I think it's, was it saline? No, it wasn't saline solution. It was whatever people use to wash their eye contacts. And I have actually made a video about nipple piercings before, which I deleted ages ago. It's the same video as this. But I then said on the video like, oh yeah, you can just use eye contact solution, and someone in the comments was like, no, you can't. As a piercer, like, you can't. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I did and it was fine, but I'm not like recommending you do it, but it does help. So salt water is great. And then yeah, I just used that. It took a little while for them to heal, and you do tend to have, so moving on from like the experience of getting them done now, in terms of the healing and stuff, yeah, there are kind of, because it's like in that area, and like I said, there's quite a lot of friction and stuff, you do end up having some problems that do reoccur a little bit. But as long as you like keep them clean, and I recommend using chamomile tea bags on them if you have any problems, like if they start to become really sore or anything like that, just use those on there, like warm chamomile tea bags, so soaked in hot water, and that can really calm down piercings. That's also really good for bumps on different piercings too. Like it always like works amazing. I would also recommend using like, I don't know if this is something people actually would recommend using, but I do, is like Dettol soap, which I'll link here, but like, or I'll put it here. Yeah, it's like an antibacterial soap, so it's just like using antibacterial soap rather than like a normal Dove soap or something like that in the shower, because that just keeps them like really clean, and just cleaning them once a day. Also, do not twist them, okay? Like people talk about their nipple piercings being really painful when they're healing. That's because what you're doing when you twist them is you're like, any scabs, sorry it's gross, but like any scabs you've got where it's like dry, you twist that back into the wound, and that's, sorry it's gross, but like that's why you end up with all that pain and it can't heal properly, because you're reopening the wound all the time. So if you're going to twist them to clean them, make sure you're doing it in the shower when they're warm and like wet. Ew. But like basically that will mean that there's nothing that you're reopening, and that will keep them clean, and it stops them from kind of like getting infected or like sore, that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, I was working straight away after I had them done. It was not a problem. I didn't really find it difficult. So I just don't think it's that deep. I think nipple piercings are like, everyone's like, oh my god, when I tell them they've got my nipples pierced, they're like, oh my god. It's not that bad. It really isn't that bad. Like I said, I'd find it like comparable to getting my nose done. Okay, so thinking about like in terms of pain, I would say out of 10, I mean like it's gonna be different for everyone. I would say it's probably like a the thing is, when I measure pain, I don't want to like give it a high number, because I'm also like, something terrible could happen to me in my life and I would regret giving that like an 8, you know what I mean? Not that I would give this an 8, I would give this like a 4 or a 5. For some other people, I can understand why they would give it a 6, but like above that, like I think you got to leave some space, you know? I don't think it's that painful. So in terms of like why I got them done, I got them done because they look cute. Like I like them. I like not wearing a bra with them so that you can see the bars. They also, if you've got bigger boobs, like I don't know if anyone understands this, but my boobs look better when they're cold. They just look better when they're cold. I think everyone's boobs look better when they're cold. And nipple piercings kind of give the illusion of cold boobs all the time. Not like completely, but like definitely more so than if you don't have them pierced. I can't even remember what my boobs look like without nipple piercings anymore. I think I would feel so naked. And also, I've not had any problems for a really long time now. Like I don't really have any issues. I kind of like keep them clean. I change the bars. When you get a piercing straight away, you think, how will I ever be able to change this? Like it's so uncomfortable at the beginning, and like they're so easy to change, just like any other jewelry. Yeah, yeah. Another plus to get your nipples pierced is that once you've had your nipples pierced, there's definitely no piercing that you're really afraid of. I mean, bar like a few that I can think of that I'm definitely not planning on getting anyway, there's no piercing that really stresses me out anymore. I'm not gonna get stressed or nervous about getting like my tongue or any of my lips or nose or anything like that pierced, or eyebrow, whatever it is, because you've had your nipples done, you know what I mean? I would also say another thing for me is that it definitely increased, like I already said before, that my nipples are like quite sensitive before I got them pierced, but now that sensitivity is definitely increased, so there's definitely more sensation for me. I don't know if that's different for other people, like some people do say the same thing, and then I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that they don't have sensation anymore, or that they've like lost it. I know that's the case with certain operations that you can have, like breast reductions and stuff, you can actually lose sensation in your nipples, but I don't think with nipple piercings that's the case. If anything, it increases sensation, so if that's something you're interested in, I would recommend them as well. Yeah, so basically I've had my nipples pierced now for the past like 6 years or something, and I love them. Like I said, I can't really imagine what I would look like without them pierced anymore. Do I recommend getting them done? Yeah. Do I think that it's like a pretty easy process? Yes. Don't go somewhere that's crazy cheap, like don't. I went and got both of mine done though for 40, which was £40, which actually is pretty cheap, but it was also somewhere reputable, so I went somewhere that I knew other people had gone to. So don't go somewhere that's just cheap, like please like go somewhere decent, because it is like you don't want anyone fucking your nipples up, basically. You don't want them wonky, you don't want them infected, nothing like that. If you do have any signs of infection at all, like definitely speak to a doctor about it, get some antibiotics. It's not something that you can't deal with. But yeah, I would say like my experience with nipple piercings has been really chill. And basically the whole message I've been trying to get across with this video is if you want to get them done, do it. Just do it. You're gonna love them afterwards and you're gonna feel great about yourself. Yeah, and to be honest, that's kind of all I had to say. Right, bye.